trying to make a video here, dog. Hush. Howdy folks, Kerbo here. Today we're going to check out some mods for cattle and crops. There's quite a few authors that are pretty active, even before a full release, with getting out some great mods. And I'm going to showcase several of those today. All mods I'm using here can be found over on modhoster.com. So just go to cnc.modhoster.com. I'll have a link down below, and you can get these great mods. We're going to start here with a mod of the default 530. And what they've done is added a screen. The screen actually works. And it's got a fertilizer calculator and a backup camera. And I think that's all that's working right now. It's a little hard to read, but I just started clicking buttons on here. There is an overview, I think, of fuel. But the main thing you got is a backup camera. That's kind of handy. And if you want to try to read it, the fertilizer calculator is on the screen. Well, that's pretty neat. I know I think this mod showed up before even the official mod had, or the official vehicle had a backup camera. So I don't know which came first, but that's a pretty neat feature, especially the backup camera if you're trying to back up and hook onto things. So well done to that. Next up, we've got a mod of the 940, the Axion, and it has the same thing. It's got the screen on it, backup camera, other little things you can go to. Other than that, it's the default 940. And then hooked up to that, we've got a couple of mowers here. Class, Disco... Oh, I'm not going to say that right. I'll put a text overlay if I remember. Anyway, you've got the big mowers on the back. You got a mower up front, so you can really mow a lot of grass with this thing. These are raised up. Is that raised up? Interesting. That raises with that. Okay. Raises with the front loader controls. You see, I've mowed a swath here for some testing. The only issue I've got with this mod, the sound's a little weird. Seems to be a little strange when you start and stop it. Seems to work just fine. I've used, I think it was a previous version of this mod with AI, and it seemed to work okay. So I would assume this version still works. There's another smaller front mower that I'm not showcasing. It does not work with AI. It ignores it. This setup here seems to work just fine. So nice big swath of grass there. Extremely well detailed, nice animations, just a great set of mowers. And I think maybe the sound is doubled up. I don't know, it just sounds a little strange. And then also, the little foot here doesn't seem to fold up. It looks like maybe it should fold up when it's not, it should fold up when it's attached to the tractor. Doesn't seem to do that. Disconnected. The other mod is a little hard to see. Actually, there's the back up here. You do have to use this adapter that comes with the mod. So if you get the front mower, you have to have this hooked up to the front of the tractor. It took me a little bit to discover that. Let's move on to the next mod. Next up, we've got a 6-meter cultivator. It's a Limken, I think it's a 6/900. And does just what you'd expect. It cultivates. This will be especially handy once soil compaction is in. Depending on what kind of seeding you're doing, you don't really even need to cultivate right now. This seems to work okay. I have not tested it with AI, but I have no reason to believe it wouldn't work okay with AI. Just haven't tested it. It's got nice sounds. All the dirt textures here seem to line up well. It's a great looking model, lots of detail. Everything seems to work as it should. It's got a nice fold animation. Works a treat. Now here's a fun one. This is something completely different. You don't have one of these in the base game, but it is a telehandler. And it works with the front loader controls just like you'd expect. It's got the secondary extend and retract. And we'll try to pick up some hay bales here. It seems like hay bales worked better pre-release. I don't know if they changed some physics. I have a little bit of trouble with them sticking to the hay fork for some reason, but let's see if we can pick these up. This will hold quite a few bales. It's a pretty beefy unit, if I can get this to cooperate. I've had 4 bales on here, no problem. I didn't want to tip or anything. That wasn't with the arm extended all the way out. But it's a telehandler. It does all the things you expect a telehandler to do. You can reach way up. Very nicely detailed. Fits in well with the other class equipment. We hop in the cab here. It's got a nice detailed interior. There's not any like labeling and stuff on the switches, but all the pieces are there, and all the interaction stuff you'd expect is there. It would be nice to have, you know, some symbology on the switches, but otherwise, very nice mod. It's even got a horn. I thought maybe you'd be able to switch the steering, but I haven't seen that in the menus. It does have all the lights and doors, stuff like that you expect. You can turn on 4-wheel drive. You knock the bales off. Very nice mod. Handy for hay loading. Here we've got a couple different mods. We've got the little Deutz-Fahr 5130. I think it's 120 horsepower, 130 horsepower. Something like that is what it's rated for in the shop. Nice detail. The cab, a little bit basic. There's not a whole lot of interaction points here, but it's more than adequate for sure. Everything works as you'd expect. Fold up, fold down. And then behind here, we've got the little wider rake, or windrower. This is the, let me zoom in here. Yeah, the 2700. So it just gives you a lot wider swath. Goes well with the bigger mower. It doesn't quite cover the width of the big mower, which was a little bit disappointing, but works as advertised. A nice rake. It's got a lot more coverage than the default. You can turn, I didn't notice that before. You can turn the steering off. So you'll notice here the wheels turn when you turn for those extra wide turns. Or not extra wide, extra tight turns. Apparently you can turn that off. Okay, cool. I had noticed that before. Yeah, it's a rake. It rakes grass. Works well. This does work with AI, at least when I tested it. I think it might have been an older version. But yeah, look out, doggy. We're coming through. Got a nice fold animation. Let me get it stopped here. Again, really nicely detailed. All these mods have great detail. I like the nice realistic fold-up speed. There we go, ready for transport. Here we've got a New Holland 2305 forage harvester, and it has 3 different heads. I've got the corn chopper head on right now. Let's go give that a whirl. You can see I've been doing a test chop here. Works as expected. Again, nicely detailed model. I really like the weathering on this. It looks like a hard-working machine. It works well with the hammer Transfer King. I had it hooked up to the larger green trailer that you can see up there at the top of the hill. And the hitch, it seemed like it maybe lifted the rear off the ground a little bit. It had a little bit of trouble on uneven ground. And plus that trailer's just a little big probably for this size of machine. But it works just fine with the Transfer King. Does just what you'd expect. Chops the corn. It's got 2 other headers. It has like a grass cutter head and then a windrow pickup head. So let's go take a look at those. So we're driving up to the barn here. You can see the interior is not too bad. Some of the textures are pretty low resolution, but it's got all the stuff you expect here on the screen, and it's got interactive switches for all the lights and bits and bobs. That's good to see. The mirrors work. While we're passing by here, there's a couple Strautmann repaints. They're just repaints of the in-game hammer stuff. Those are also available as mods. Wasn't going to cover those too much. They're just repaints. Everything else is the same. I want that Strautmann look. Strautmann, I may be saying that wrong. Here's the 2 different heads. They work just like you'd expect. So over here is the cutter head. It will cut, I've tried grass. I assume you could cut grain with it if you wanted to and just throw the shaft in the trailer. Works great with grass. You can want to mow and throw it in the trailer all at the same get-go. This will do that for you. A lot of nice detail. Look at the chain there. All the little sprockets going, and some nice weathering on this mod as well. Looks really nice. I think this suffers from the drive bug that they finally fixed on the in-game forest harvester. I'll show you that in just a minute. The main drive wheels are the rear wheels instead of the front axle. But that's probably an easy fix. I know they fixed it in the base game. So this header here is just a pickup, so it'll pick up a windrow and then throw it in the trailer. Works great if you don't want to, rent a loader wagon and you have this thing. Just pick it up, throw it right in the Transfer King. But let me show you what I mean by the 4-wheel drive. This is a problem that was an issue with the in-game forage harvester as well, and then they fixed that in a recent patch. If we drive against this barn here, you can see the main drive wheels is in the rear instead of in the front like it should be. Not a big deal, just one of those minor little details. But this is a hard-working little unit. It's really fast too for traversing on the road. You'll get there in no time. So that's it for this video. Just wanted to show off some of the mods that are available in case you weren't aware. Again, just super detail on these. Well done to all the mod authors, and thank you very much for putting your time and effort into free mods for the community to use. I will be putting some of these to good use on my playthrough. Thanks for watching as always, and take care.